Testing. Okay, good. Happy Sabbath again. All right. I'm going to be sharing with you this afternoon a lecture on healing the heart. We talked about heart disease a little earlier and for our divine worship. And, excuse me. And now we're going to be talking about healing the heart. So before we do that, let me just pull my Bible out. Okay. Let me move this over a little bit. All right. Okay, God made a promise, excuse me, in Deuteronomy chapter 7, chapter 7, verse 15, and the Lord will take away from thee all sickness. Maybe we can we turn off some of the lights? It's pretty bright, like the ones here in the front. Maybe it'll illuminate our screen a little more. Maybe the ones up back here, yeah? And then maybe, okay, that's fine. That's a little better. That's fine. That's perfect. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness and will put none of the evil diseases of who? Of Egypt. Excuse me. I'm fighting a sore throat. Which thou knowest upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. So God made a promise that the diseases of Egypt will not come upon us if we obey his word, right? Unfortunately, we are suffering from many of the same diseases that they had in ancient Egypt today. This poor man is in ICU, life support. All right. Again, Exodus 15, verse 25 and 6 says, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee which I brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. So this is a promise. Now, God is talking about, in his word, the diseases of Egypt. Well, what were the diseases of Egypt? We're all familiar with the King Tutankhamun exhibit. In fact, in 1975, I won an essay contest in the state of California and was part of a small group of junior high school students who won tickets to view the first viewing of the King Tutankhamun exhibit in Los Angeles in 1975. Pretty amazing display of gold and things they had there. But you know, the Egyptians believed in reincarnation, and they were into spiritualism. And so there was a group of scientists who went over to Cairo, Egypt, and they wanted to find out what these mummies, these dead Egyptians, what they died from. And this is what they discovered as they put them into a CT scan, an MRI, kind of the same devices we use today when we have problems. And this is what they found. They found that hardening of the arteries has been detected in Egyptian mummies, some as old as 3,500 years, suggesting that the factors causing heart attack and stroke are not only modern ones, they afflicted ancient people too. So again, these people died from heart attack and stroke. Same thing. Nothing's different, right? And the nameplate of the pharaoh Merimta, 1213 to 1203 BC, in the Museum of Egyptian Antiquities reads that when he died at approximately age 60, he was afflicted with atherosclerosis, arthritis, and dental decay. This is taken from ScienceDaily.com, a report on the findings of UC Irvine clinical professor of cardiology, Dr. Gregory Thomas, a co-principal investigator on the study. We know that according to the book of Exodus, chapter 16, that the people of Egypt largely ate flesh food and lots of fish, right? Remember, when God brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, out of slavery, out of the house of bondage, he brought them into the wilderness, and what did he rain from heaven? Manna. What is manna? What is manna? It's like pancakes, right? It's kind of like it's a wafer. It's kind of like, I mean, in my mind, it's kind of like a pancake, but it's sweet. It tasted like coriander seed and honey, it says in Exodus. But God rained that from heaven, and he sustained them out there in the wilderness. There's no markets. There's no Sam's Club or Costco or anything out there, right? And so they're out there in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, totally dependent on God. He rains manna from heaven. And what did the people say? Oh, thank you, Lord. This is great food. What did they say? Anybody know? We want meat. We remember the flesh pots of Egypt. We want to eat the flesh foods of Egypt. And so in Numbers chapter 11, I'm mixing up chapters now. Numbers chapter 11, the Bible tells us that God told Moses, okay, I will give you flesh, not 1 day, not 2 days, not 5 days, not 10 days, but a whole month until it comes out of your nose. That's what it says. That's Numbers chapter 11. And so if you read the end of the chapter, it says that God brought an east wind and he let quail come. You know, in Tagalog they call it pogo, quail. You know, those little birds that run around. They have that one feather that kind of sticks up on the top of their head. And God rained quail, and it was 3 feet deep as far as the eye could see in every direction. Imagine quail this deep. I mean, we're talking tons of flesh food. God didn't just give them a few birds. He gave them millions of quail. And what did the people do? They stayed up all that day and all that night and all the next day and all the next night. It was the largest barbecue recorded in history. Literally. And what was the result? Thousands died of heart attack and stroke. That's what it says. Read Numbers chapter 11. That's the conclusion of the chapter. Because they were eating this flesh food, the flesh pots of Egypt. Here it is. And they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lust. This is in Psalms. You can read about this in Psalm 78. You can read about it in Psalm 69. Okay? And he says, because they believed not in God and trusted not in his salvation, they were not estranged from their lust. But while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of God came upon them and slew the fattest of them and smote down the chosen men of Israel. That's what it says in Psalms 78, verse 18, 22, and 30 to 31. So God rained quail down upon them. It was not God's will, but God didn't force them. He said, okay, it's up to you. He gave them a health message. They didn't like the health message, and they ate the same diet as the world, and they died of the same diseases as the world. Sound familiar? There's another group of people that God gave a health message, and they've chosen to eat like the world, and guess what? We're dying like the world. Again, we read this earlier. You know, those who use flesh meat disregard all the warnings that God has given concerning this question, and so on. All right, let's skip that. We read this earlier. Remember, our body is the temple of God, right? 1 Corinthians 6, verse 19 and 20. We're familiar with that. It is a mistake to suppose that muscular strength depends upon the use of animal food. The needs of the system can be better supplied, and more vigorous health can be enjoyed without its use. The grains, with fruits, nuts, and vegetables, contain all the nutritive properties necessary to make good blood. These elements are not so well or so fully supplied by a flesh diet. Had the use of flesh been essential to health and strength, animal food would have been included in the diet appointed man in the beginning. This is from Child Guidance, page 384. You know, there's a movie on Netflix called The Game Changers. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. It might have been moved to Hulu or one of those things. I don't know. All I know is Netflix. I don't even have that. But I've seen it because I know somebody has an account, and I saw that video, and it's phenomenal. It shows world-class athletes whose performance greatly improved when they ate a plant-based diet and got rid of all the flesh foods. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is in that video. He says, you know, this idea that you got to have lots of meat in order to be strong. He said, that is baloney. That is not true. World-class bodybuilder telling us. You know, we were taught in school, oh, but you know, you got to have the 4 food groups. right? They teach this in universities. They teach it in high schools, elementary, junior high schools. This is what we're taught, that you got to have the dairy and you know, some fish, and you got to have your cheese and your eggs and milk and everything. And then you got to have your legumes and your veggies and your fruits and the grains and some oils. In fact, we are taught that you need to drink your milk because you need what? Calcium. This is what we're taught in school. Did you know that milk is designed to grow a 900-pound beast? Think about it. That little calf has to grow to be really big in a very short period of time. Cow's milk contains 59 growth hormones, one of which is insulin growth factor 1. IGF-1 is a key factor in the growth of what? Cancer cells. Each bite of hard cheese has 10 times whatever was in that sip of milk, because it takes 10 pounds of milk to make 1 pound of cheese. Each bite of ice cream contains 12 times, and every swipe of butter has 21 times whatever is contained in the fat molecules in a sip of milk. This is taken from Rense.com website. 65 medical studies are listed in the website as documentation for those quotations there. Here is a brief list of the disorders caused by the unnatural consumption of cow's milk and dairy by human beings. Gastrointestinal canker sores, vomiting, colic, stomach cramps, abdominal distension, intestinal obstruction, bloody stools, colitis, malabsorption, loss of appetite, growth retardation, diarrhea, constipation, painful defecation, irritation of the tongue, lips, and mouth, respiratory nasal stuffiness, runny nose, inner ear trouble, sinusitis, asthma, pulmonary infiltrates, skin rashes, atopic dermatitis, eczema, seborrhea, hives, behavioral irritability, restlessness, hyperactivity, headache, lethargy, fatigue, allergies, anemia in adults, and mental depression, etc. This is taken from 9 medical studies that are found at organichealthandbeauty.com website. So what's in a glass of milk? You might ask, well, what is in a glass of milk? 135 million pus cells. Wow. Think about that. Blood, feces, up to 20 painkillers, antibiotics, and growth hormones. IGF-1, which we just mentioned, which contributes to increased diabetes risk, hormonal imbalance, immune system damage, early puberty in children, and cancer. Acidic protein, which leaches minerals and calcium from the bones. Did you know that milk is so high in protein that it takes the calcium out of the bones in order to buffer it through the kidneys for urination? Did you know that? No, they didn't teach us that in school, but that's a fact. Drinking cow's milk takes calcium out of the bones, not put it in the bones. Okay? Because there's too much protein. Remember, it's for a cow, and we're not cows, right? Toxic milk protein, casein, which contributes to breast cancer, kidney disease, arthritis, MS, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, and asthma, just to name a few. You know, when you look at the filter that's used in a factory that processes milk, and they bottle it up, and they package it up, and then they ship it off to the grocery store, would you drink a glass of milk out of one of those filters? No way. But that's what they're giving us. You know, there's a very, very smart PhD microbiologist, Dr. T. Colin Campbell. He wrote a book called The China Study. What they did was they studied, excuse me, I forgot to put my phone on silent. Hello? Yes, I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm in a lecture. Okay, yeah, thank you, bye. I don't know who that is. All right. I don't even know who that was. All right. In his book, he says that, so they studied population of Chinese people from all over China, okay? And this is a thick book. I have the book. I haven't even read it, to be honest with you. There's a lot of information in this book. I read through some of it, but this is what he says. They discovered that casein, which is a protein in milk, cow's milk, is the most relevant cancer promoter ever discovered. This is what they found out. Remember, cow's milk is for baby cows, right? And mommy's milk is for babies. Have you ever seen a 35-year-old man come up to his mom and go, "Mommy"? Of course not, right? It's ridiculous. But this guy says, "No, cow's milk is for us." I was thinking, you go straight to the source. And this little kid says, "Oh, it's good." You know, they have this brand of milk in the Philippines. It's called Bear Brand milk. This is the powdered milk that people are drinking in the Philippines. And I told them, when I give this lecture, I tell them, you know, Bear Brand milk, you know who that's for? It's for baby bears. I think you get the point, right? Mother's milk is for babies only. And when the baby starts getting teeth, one day he bites mommy really hard, and mommy goes, "Oh, that's it. It's time for weaning the child. It's time for you to eat solid food," right? But then we're told by the Meat and Dairy Council of the United States, who lobbies Congress, by the way, and tells them, "Oh, you got to put this in the curriculum in all the schools and universities that we need to drink milk. We need more milk." Did you know that we have more osteoporosis in this country than anywhere else on planet Earth? And we drink more milk and eat more dairy products than everybody else combined. Because cow's milk is for baby cows. And cow's milk takes the calcium out of your bones, not put it into your bones, because of the protein content. And yet we were told in Counsels of Diet and Foods, those who have received instruction regarding the evils of the use of flesh foods, tea and coffee, rich and unhealthful food preparations, and who are determined to make a covenant with God by sacrifice, will not continue to indulge their appetite for food that they know to be unhealthful. God demands that the appetites be cleansed and that self-denial be practiced in regard to those things which are not good. This is a work that will have to be done before his people can stand before him, a perfected people. Wow. That's a pretty powerful statement. Think about that. And we're told, "Oh, you know, it's not necessary. Just eat whatever you want," right? Just believe in Jesus, right? I mean, we're told that. All different religions, they're saying, "Oh, just believe in Jesus." Well, whatever happened to obedience and taking care of the temple of God and you know, all of this information God has given regarding health and lifestyle practices? So let's talk a little bit about disease. We talked about heart disease, clogging of the arteries. Closely connected with heart disease is diabetes. In fact, many late-stage diabetics die of heart attack. Why? Because they have the same clogging of the arteries. The fat from all that animal food inhibits the insulin from reaching the cell. And therefore, the blood sugar goes up, and now they have to take insulin from outside because the pancreas is either damaged or the insulin is not doing its job. It's impotent, okay? What is disease? Dis-ease. In other words, you're not comfortable because something's going on. Disease, this is a divine definition of disease. Disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from a violation of the laws of health. In case of sickness, the cause should be ascertained. Number one. Number two, unhealthful conditions should be changed. That's number two. Number three, wrong habits corrected. And then what? Number four, then nature is to be assisted in her effort to expel impurities and to reestablish right conditions in the system. This is taken from Ministry of Healing, page 127. So there are a few steps here that God is telling us. When you get sick, you have to find out, why am I sick? Well, first of all, if you don't even know what you have, you need to go and see a doctor. Because doctors are trained, they can diagnose, they can read lab results, they can take your blood and everything, and they run it through the lab, and they find out, why is it that you're having this problem? And so they can ascertain many things just by looking at your blood, because the life of the flesh is in the blood, Leviticus 17:11 says, right? We'll talk about that a little later. So we need to find out, why am I sick? What caused my high blood pressure? What caused my cancer? What caused my diabetes? Okay? And number two, Unhelpful conditions should be changed, and wrong habits should be corrected. So we need to look at God's health message and find out, where am I violating? You know, for many years, by the way, I've been eating a plant-based diet for like 38 years since I became an Adventist. I was converted when I was 21. I'm 58. I feel like I'm 35. I feel great. No health issues, tons of energy. Can't sit still for 5 minutes sometimes. And I love to play pickleball. Anyways, so we have to assist nature to expel impurities from the system. How do we do that? So we call that cleansing. And cleansing is a biblical principle. Let's take a look. 2 Corinthians 7:1, having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God. Now, I don't advocate green tea. I put herb tea there because green tea does have caffeine. I don't advocate drinking anything with caffeine in it. So I changed the title of that one where it says herb tea. It used to say green tea, but I changed that. The point is, there are many things in nature that we can use that can help our bodies to clean out these toxins that are creating problems. Okay? What are the 5 channels of elimination? These organs of elimination are, the largest being what? The skin, right? How do we eliminate through the skin? Through sweating, right? And if you're not exercising, you're not going to detoxify your body, okay? You're going to be toxic. You're going to auto-intoxicate your system, okay? And if you're using underarm antiperspirant, bad news. Don't use that. Use a natural herbal-based deodorant. It does the same thing, but it allows you to sweat and it doesn't smell, okay? Number 2, the liver. Whoops, I shouldn't click. All right. The liver. Everything we put into our mouth and everything we put into our skin goes to the liver, okay? Everything. Number 3, the kidneys filters all those toxins. That's why we need to drink lots of water so we can clean out our kidneys. Number 4, the lungs. That's why we need fresh air and exercise. Cardiovascular exercise. Not this kind of exercise or this or this. That's not exercise. And number 5, the colon. Did you know? Well, we'll talk about that. We'll get to that in just a minute. How many of you have heard of Bragg's liquid aminos, Bragg's apple cider vinegar, right? Paul Bragg is the one that started that company. He was a health crusader. He lived during the era of Jack LaLanne, you know, the guy that did the jumping jacks on TV and everything. I used to watch him when I was a kid. I was like, oh, look at his jumping jacks, you know. So Jack LaLanne and Paul Bragg, they were contemporaries. Anyways, in his book, The Miracle of Fasting, he says that fasting is mentioned 74 times in the Bible, and that fasting puts the body in a condition where all the vital force of the body is used to flush out the causes of body miseries. Interesting. Notice the word flush out. Now, what does Ellen White say in her writings about fasting? Counsels in Diet and Foods, page 310. In many cases of sickness, the very best remedy is for the patient to fast for a meal or two, that the overworked organs of digestion may have an opportunity to rest. So that's number 1. Fast for a meal or two. We call that, what do we call that? If you skip lunch and dinner, intermittent fasting. Thank you. Number 2, a fruit diet for a few days has often brought great relief to brain workers. We call that fruit fasting. Just nothing but fruits. No rice, no potatoes, no bread, no cooked foods, just only fruits for 3 or 4 days, or 2 or 3 days. And number 3, many times a short period of entire abstinence from food, followed by simple, moderate eating, has led to recovery through nature's own recuperative effort. Wow. So there are 3 kinds of fasting mentioned by God through Ellen White for us. When you get sick, this is the best thing that you can do, is put your body into a fast, okay? In most cases. If you have advanced cancer, Stage 4 cancer and you're weak, I do not recommend you do a fast. Okay? Until you become stronger through juicing and eating good food and sunshine and all of that. And then you can do a 1-day fast. And then later on you can do 2 or 3 days. That's a whole nother story. All right. So let's read a little bit about intermittent fasting. What are some of the benefits of intermittent fasting? Research shows that the intermittent fasting periods do more than burn fat. Matson, one of the scientists here, explains that when changes occur when this metabolic switch, it affects the body and brain. And one of his studies published in the New England Journal of Medicine revealed data about a range of health benefits associated with the practice. These include a longer life, a leaner body, and a sharper mind. Notice that. Many things happen during intermittent fasting that can protect organs against chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, age-related neurodegenerative disorders, and even inflammatory bowel disease and many cancers, he says. Here are some of the intermittent fasting benefits. Number 1, thinking and memory. Studies discovered that intermittent fasting boosts working memory in animals and verbal memory in adult humans. Number 2, heart health. Intermittent fasting improves blood pressure and resting heart rates as well as other heart-related measurements. Number 3, physical performance. Young men who fasted for 16 hours showed fat loss while maintaining muscle mass. Mice who were fed on alternate days showed better endurance in running. Number 4, type 2 diabetes and obesity. In animal studies, intermittent fasting prevented obesity, and in 6 brief studies, obese adult humans lost weight through intermittent fasting. People with type 2 diabetes may benefit. Most of the available research shows that intermittent fasting can help people lose body weight and lower their levels of fasting glucose, fasting insulin and leptin while reducing insulin resistance, decreasing levels of leptin, and increasing levels of adiponectin. Certain studies found that some patients practicing intermittent fasting with supervision by their doctors were able to reverse their need for insulin therapy. Wow. Do you realize what this is saying? Did you know that the Diabetes Association of America says that diabetes is an incurable disease? That's what they say. But this research is telling us that a person who does intermittent fasting can even improve their health or even totally reverse type 2 diabetes. Did you know that God told us, Seventh-day Adventists, over 100 years ago, that most people enjoy better health while eating 2 meals a day than 3? Most people. It didn't say all people. Others, under their existing circumstances, may require something to eat at supper time, but this meal should be very light. Let no one think himself a criterion for all, that everyone must do exactly as he does. Counsels on Diet and Foods, page 176. So the point is, you would do better, most of us would do better on 2 meals a day rather than 3. Because if you're eating 2 meals a day, you are practicing intermittent fasting, you're giving your digestive process a rest, and you are rejuvenating your immune system and building up your system in order to maintain good health. That's the benefit. How many meals did Elijah eat a day? Anybody know? Elijah the prophet, he ate 2 meals a day, didn't he? And he's a type of the 144,000. Interesting. All right. So what we do is we take people on what we call a juice fast. We put them on fresh fruit and vegetable juices, but it's combined. So we juice carrot apple, we juice celery with cucumber and sugar beets and lettuce and romaine and all of those wonderful veggies. And we juice this in a machine called a juice extractor. There are different kinds. This is the Norwalk juicer. It's a 2-step juicer. It's a very expensive machine. I have 2 of these because we use them all the time. I have one in the Philippines and I have one here. My machine here looks just like that. Stainless steel, beautiful machine. And what it does is it grinds up the produce. You push the carrot and the apple down the chute there, and it's got a blade in the middle, and it grinds it up, and it forces it through a screen, and you have this cloth, which is a porous cloth, and it catches the pulp, You take that, you kind of squeeze it with your hands, you put it into that little cold press, that hydraulic press on the right side of the machine. You turn the crank to the right, and it goes up and it squeezes all of the juice out of that pulp that you just ground up with the machine. Now, this is called a pulp ejector or juice extracting machine. These are centrifugal type. It has a spinning blade on the inside there. And you push the carrot and the apple and the orange or whatever you're juicing down into the machine. And out comes juice out of one side, and the pulp goes into the waste bin on the other side, and you throw that away, or you feed it to the worms in your garden, and it'll give you better produce. All right. So that's called a juicing machine. You've seen these. How many of you are familiar with juicing machines? You've seen those? Okay, great. All right, very simple. So carrot, apple, carrot, celery, lettuce. There are many different kinds of juices. Green juices, red juices, orange juices, and different combinations. We fast diabetic patients on green juices. We give them carrot apple juice diluted half and half with water, because it's too sweet. If you give it pure juice, it'll boost their blood sugar because carrot apple juice is very sweet. How many of you have tasted carrot apple juice? Okay, most of us. Okay, good. Pretty good stuff, huh? But not for a diabetic. You dilute it with water. Half water, half juice. Very, very little sugar. Blood sugar doesn't go up. It's fine. And then we graduate them into pure green juice. Celery, cucumber, romaine lettuce, kale, etc. Okay? So they're different. And then, of course, the red juice there, that's sugar beets. That's good for cleansing the liver. Very powerful stuff. Green juices, they don't have to be sweet. Instead of using apple, you can use lemon or lime. And it takes getting used to, but it's very powerful medicine. Very good. We do not recommend pure fruit juice as a rule. And the reason is because it's very, very sweet. It's a concentrated sugar. And so if you drink that, then, of course, the pancreas has to excrete more insulin to keep the blood sugar at a normal level. So you're stressing out your pancreas. Not a good idea. So we use a little bit of fruit to flavor the veggies so it tastes good. That's why we use fruit. All right. So the University of Southern California did a study on a group of people, and they found that fasting for 3 days can have a significant improvement in your body's health. The 6-month study was done on both mice and humans who are currently going through chemotherapy, and they noticed a significant improvement in their health as the white blood cells and other toxins in the body were flushed out over the course of the fast. Notice, basically, when you fast for a prolonged amount of time, your body uses the stored glucose, fats, and produce ketone bodies that are especially good for your brain to keep you going. And you flush out anything that your body doesn't need, like damaged cells and toxins. Remember what Ellen White said? Then nature is to be assisted to expel impurities from the system. In other words, flush out, cleansing. It's all the same thing. And one of the best ways to do that is through fasting, okay? When you're eating, regularly harmful toxins in the body can attach themselves to these fats and live on. But when you fast, your body is forced to lighten itself. It's like the survival of the fittest. Only the strong survive. PKA is the key gene that needs to shut down in order for these stem cells to switch into a regenerative mode, says this scientist. It gives the okay for stem cells to go ahead and begin proliferating and rebuild the entire system, explained Longo, noting the potential of clinical applications that mimic the effects of prolonged fasting to rejuvenate the immune system. And the good news is that the body got rid of the parts of the system that might be damaged or old, the inefficient parts during the fasting. Now, if you start with a system heavily damaged by chemotherapy or aging, fasting cycles can generate literally a new immune system. Wow. Look at that. Fasting cycles can generate literally a new immune system. This is what they found out. They started testing, people, and of course they did testing on mice, and they found out that that's exactly what happened to their test subjects. And of course, what are some of the other benefits of fasting? It gives your digestive system a rest. It can help you to beat addictions. If you're struggling with chocolate, ice cream, dairy product, you're struggling with junk food or sugar or soft drinks, the best thing for you to do is go on a fast. It will clean out those addictions faster than anything else. That's why I call it fasting, right? It's faster than anything else. All right. It normalizes insulin sensitivity. It's a great way to start a healthy diet. It can reduce your hunger levels. It promotes the detoxification process. It whitens the eyes and clears the complexion. It can reduce high blood pressure, very important. And it can boost the immune system. So I'm going to skip this. There's a lot of reading slides. I'm going to pass that. So let me talk about this man here. Anybody know who this guy is? This is Dr. Norman Walker. Anybody ever heard of him? Nobody. Okay. Norman Walker invented the juicer. This is the guy. Okay. He was diagnosed with cancer in his 50s. He had colon cancer, and he learned somehow about how to produce live juices. And he ate 100% raw diet until the day he died. He died at about 112 years old in the 1980s, free of all disease. He wrote many books, which are in most health food stores throughout the United States, such as The Natural Way to Vibrant Health, Fresh Vegetable and Fruit Juices, Become Younger, Raw Vegetable Juices, and so on. He has a lot of health books, and he is basically teaching our health message to the world. This man died in the 80s, but he was way ahead of his time, and he was a Christian. All right. Now, this man's name is Dr. Joel Fuhrman. He's a medical doctor here in the United States, and he wrote a book called Fasting and Eating for Health. I highly recommend this book. This book is loaded with information. It's a really good book. It's a good read. And in the book, he says, as the scribes and Pharisees rejected Christ's healing, allopathic medicine has frowned on fasting. The medical profession's primary method over the last century for combating the effects of improper diet and lifestyle has been to offer medication and surgery. This approach has not been effective. Almost every medical treatment offered for the chronic sufferer today attempts only to control symptoms. There are no cures. The current medical treatments not only have risks, but also represent a Band-Aid type of approach. They can offer relief from symptoms, but they cannot cure. Because, notice why, this is the reason why. Because they do not address the cause of the disease. You know, it has been truly said, if you know what causes your disease, remove the cause, and guess what happens? You get cured, right? It's like if you have a sliver in your finger and you have pain, well, then pull the sliver out. And guess what? Eventually, the pain will go away. Does that make sense? It's very simple. Under modern medicine, the incidence of most chronic diseases has increased, and the vast majority of people are still dying from what are preventable diet and lifestyle-induced illnesses, he writes. Page 21. While medical treatments aim at reducing the symptoms and may address some discrete areas of disease, they do little or nothing to remove the underlying illness or stop its progression to an untimely death. On the other hand, fasting treats the entire body, he writes. Wow. Really amazing. In addition to aggressive dietary changes, and in the context, he's talking about a plant-based diet. He says a physician-supervised fast, and he's talking about 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, okay? He says it can be utilized to bring a patient to a new level of cardiac safety. Fasting in conjunction with optimal nutrition before and after the fast offers the ability to undo the damage done to the body by the rich diets of modern societies. Through therapeutic fasting, a patient is able to reverse a cardiac condition quickly without the need for invasive medical procedures. What is he talking about? Angioplasty, bypass surgery, stents, things like that. The results I have seen in patients using this approach have been spectacular. Fasting allows the body actually to remove the plaque from within the blood vessels and to heal itself in the shortest amount of time. Wow. A plant-based diet in conjunction with a properly conducted fast most often leads to a total recovery or a vast improvement in hypertension and angina. Pretty powerful statement, isn't it? Isn't that amazing? So this doctor is discovering 120, 30, 40 years later what God told us as a church in Counsels and Diet and Foods and Ministry of Healing 100 plus years ago. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And yet, we practice medicine just like everybody else. Now, I'm not saying doctor's bad. I'm not saying medicine is bad. I'm not saying that at all. We need doctors. We need surgeons. They save lives. They can help us. But the point is, God did not call us to do that kind of medicine as our main thing. He called us to do something different. That's the point. Okay? All right. So let's talk about that. This lady came to us. By the way, this little girl on the left is my daughter. She's 26 years old now. This is an old picture. This woman on the right just died last year. But many, many years ago, I don't know, 17, 18 years ago or whatever, she came to us with the rheumatoid arthritis so bad that she could hardly even walk. Lots of pain. They carried her on a chair. They brought her into the house and set her down and said, "Okay, Brother James, here she is." I said, "Oh, boy." We put her on a 3-day juice fast. At the end of 3 days, most, not all, but most all pain was completely gone. She could not walk. 5 days later, she walked out of the house with a cane. 1 month later, she was completely free of all rheumatoid arthritis and off of all drugs. That was, 18 years ago or something? This guy, Sam Patalinghog. He's an elder in one of the churches that we did a seminar similar to this in his church. He was all excited. "Oh, praise the Lord. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to exercise and drink water and go to bed early." And he practiced health reform for a short period of time and then went back to his old ways. A couple of years later, he calls me up, "Brother James, help." "What's the matter?" "I'm in pain. My whole body is in pain." He was diagnosed with advanced rheumatoid arthritis. When he came to us, we didn't know that he had a lung infection because the results from the test weren't in yet, but he was desperate for help like right now. So he came to us. He had excruciating body pain. He was on painkillers and anti-inflammatory medications, maxed out. He could not take any more medication, and the drugs were not doing anything for his pain anymore. At first, it helped, but then after a month or two, it wasn't doing any good. And the rheumatoid arthritis was so bad, he was in excruciating pain. So we put him on a 10-day cleanse. With much prayer to God, I put him on a 3-day juice fast, and I let him eat raw food for 1 day. He was still in pain. Most people in 3 days, no more pain, all gone. And they're like, "Oh, I feel good. It's amazing." And they're like praising the Lord. But this guy still had pain. "Thank you. We need the fans. It's hot in here." So I prayed, as I always do, because I'm not a doctor. I need wisdom from God. "Lord, what do I do with this man?" And so the Holy Spirit impressed me, put him on water fasting. Now, I have experience in water fasting. I've done a 1-week water fast. I've done a 4-day, a 3-day, a 2-day, a 1-day. I've done water fasting. And I don't fast very often. In fact, I fasted 1 day this week because I was really struggling with this sore throat, and I was afraid I wasn't even going to be able to speak today. But praise God, my voice is a little better. But it's because of the fast. The Lord blessed that. So I put him on a 4-day water fast. And when you're water fasting, you need to just lay in bed. You don't go walking around and, go to the pickleball court. And you don't do stuff like that when you're fasting, especially on water. Because, I mean, you're burning some serious toxins, and your body is going through withdrawals from food, and you're like, I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, water fasting is hard. Especially the first 3 days, but once you get past 3 days, woo, I have energy, I feel great. 2 days later, 2 hours later, oh, I feel good again. So don't do water fasting unless you learn about water fasting and what to do and what not to do, because I've broken all the rules and I paid the price and it's very painful. Trust me, don't break the rules, okay? So I put him on a 4-day water fast. All pain was gone except for the right arm was still in a lot of pain. But all the other pain, joints, everything clear. No more pain. Then I let him eat for 2 days. Every day I was giving coffee enemas to clean out the liver. That's another story. It detoxifies and cleanses the liver. It's just too hot. I'm sweating. All right? This man recovered. Then he came to the United States. His daughter got married over here. He came over with his wife from the Philippines. They got a visa, and they came over and visited. And they went to the wedding, and they went to the reception, and then they went to the restaurant, and they ate this, and they ate that. And guess what? Brother James, help. I told him, repent. I said, you know what to do. You don't need to come to me. Yeah, okay. So he went back to fasting and cleansing, and he recovered. You know, we have to learn through suffering, don't we? Because we're really hard-headed, you know? I'm not saying him. I'm saying we, including me. This man had eczema from head to foot so bad, he said, I'm itching all night. I can hardly sleep. He was really suffering, this man. He lived in Mindoro. I told him, okay, when I get somebody to go through our program and they pay for the program, I'll bring you for free. Shh. Don't tell anybody. Because we charge for what we do. My seminars are free. If you invite me to do an evangelistic series, just pay my travel expenses if it's far. If it's here in Sacramento, it's free, right? But if you want me to go to, China or something, you have to pay the airfares. Anyways, so we brought him. He went through the program. Within 10 days, all eczema except for a little bit on his elbow was completely gone. I told him, oh, you know what? That's just, those skin rashes, all those problems, atopic dermatitis, eczema, seborrheic, all that stuff. Dirty liver. Clean out the liver, and it disappears. I'm telling you. I've seen this for many, many years. This man completely, he grows his own food now, by the way. Does he look like he has eczema? No, his face is clear. This man lives in our barangay. He lives across the street from where we live. This is at our property in the country. And he had rheumatoid arthritis really bad. We were doing cabbage poultices on his knees. His joints are so full of uric acid, and he could barely walk. He couldn't even hardly move. He kept saying, aray, aray. That means ouch, ouch in Tagalog. And I said, what's your name? Arthritis. Arthritis. We made a joke out of it, Tried to lighten him up a little bit. He laid in bed for 9 days. Could not get up. I couldn't do much with him because he can't do colon cleansing. He can't do a coffee enema. I couldn't put him in the steam bath because he's in too much pain. Just by fasting him, he finally got to the point where he could get up, and I could put him in the steam bath. I could give him a coffee enema. And then within 12 days, he walked off the property. No more pain. And then he went back to eating this and eating that. Aray! Yeah. I told him, that's what you pay. You pay the price. We pray for him. Oh, by the way, his wife, I did an interview with this guy on my YouTube channel. I have testimonies of different people. And his wife changed her diet also and ate the same plant-based diet that I had prescribed for him, and she got off her high blood pressure medication within a week. This young man, my son's best friend in the Philippines when he was a teenager, he's 26 years old. He had 2 strokes. Yeah, you heard that. 2 strokes. During his second stroke, my son called me and said, Araw, which means sunshine. His dad is a New Ager. He was raised in New Age religion. And they were raised vegetarian, but by this time, he's eating only flesh foods. He only eats meat, chicken, pork, fish, eggs, cheese, milk, junk food, fried foods, no veggies, no fruits. He was in the middle of his second stroke. I ran into his house, and I took 180,000 heat unit cayenne pepper, and I squirted it in his mouth, and he went, and it stopped his stroke, dead in its track. He got up, and he was walking like this. 26 years old. I said, bro, let me tell you something. Now is the time to change. He said, I'm willing. What do I do? I said, eat nothing but fruits for the next 4 days. Then you come to my place. I'm going to put you on a 10-day program, and we're going to flush all that garbage out of your body that you've been eating for 26 years. Okay. He came. We put him on a cleanse. When he came to the property, he drove himself. Look, Kuya James, look, I'm okay. I said, nah, you're not okay. You improved, but you're not okay. We're going to clean out your blood vessels now. So we put him on fasting, cleansing, steam bath, colon cleansing, liver cleansing, sunshine, fresh air. You see the banana trees behind there? That's the guest house. We live in the jungle, literally. This lady, high blood pressure, taking medications for many years. Day number 2, blood pressure went from 150 over 100 down to 117 over 80 or 90, something like that. She recovered, got off all her medication. This lady, nasopharyngeal cancer, she's a dentist, and she used to mix those amalgam fillings, you know, those metal fillings, the silver ones. Oh, by the way, if you have that in your mouth, have your dentist remove them one by one. Poison, real poison. Amalgam fillings contain mercury, and Ellen White says that mercury is a very, very deadly toxin that never leaves the body. I used to have a whole bunch of those in my mouth, and when I took them out, my energy went up. Woo, I feel good now. Wow, amazing. Because you're chewing the stuff, and you're swallowing these heavy metals. Anyways, so she used to breathe this stuff. She didn't wear a mask. She had a large tumor behind the nasal cavity, post-nasal drip, migraine headaches, lethargy and fatigue and depression. On the second day of fasting, she couldn't even get out of bed. I said, oh, are you okay? Can I come upstairs? Yeah, I don't feel good. I said, let me come upstairs. Okay. I looked at her, and she was just like this. I said, and I'm not freaking out. I know she's going through a detox. Her body is going through what's called a healing crisis. In other words, it's working. The poison is coming out. Oh, it tastes good going in, but coming out, it doesn't feel good. Trust me. Been there, done that. So I told her, don't worry. Here, drink this. And then let her go in the bathroom. She did her coffee enema. Oh, my headache is gone. I have energy. I feel good. I said, oh, you see? You see that? She was amazed. No more post-nasal drip. No more migraine headaches. And now she's doing ozone therapy. We do ozone too. We use ozone in our place. This lady, she took the on the right side. You know what I'm talking about? You know, 2021. She took the and on the same side that she took the you know, if this goes on YouTube, they'll take it down. They took down the testimony that I did with this lady. They took my video down because I mentioned the it's against the community guidelines to talk against the anyways, she developed breast cancer within a month on the same side that she took the okay? And I learned that from somebody else, by the way. I was watching a video and some guy, that's how he was doing it. I said, oh, that's brilliant. Anyways, we put her on a good cleanse. Her pain went from level 8 to level 2 in 10 days. She's doing really well. This man on the far right is a pastor from our church, Seventh-day Adventist, not our local church, but from another church. Migraine headaches after taking the headaches, high blood pressure, all kinds of problems. The lady next to him, same thing, high blood pressure, medications, because of the anyways. And the lady next to her, also lots of health problems. They went through a 10-day program. The lady got off all her medications. He's off all his medications. They're doing better. They're doing a healthy lifestyle now. They're eating different. They're eating plant-based foods, okay? We've done programs at the Central Luzon Conference. This is the largest conference in the Philippines. There's over 100 pastors in that conference. And we've done about 60 people from that conference, many pastors. And after they experienced lowering of blood pressure, lowering of insulin intake, and basically eliminating diabetes and whatnot, guess who's inviting us to do evangelism all over the country? These guys. I mean, all over Luzon, which is where we live, the Big Island. This lady, migraine headaches. So when we break the fast, we serve raw foods. Raw salads, raw soup. Yes, it's not cooked. It looks cooked, but it's not. So, sure, a couple more slides, and then my wife is going to do a demo. And did you want to come up and share a little bit, honey? Come on. Okay. So, disease, Hippocrates says all disease begins in the colon. I have to agree with that in some ways. Our healthy intestine, our healthy digestive system should look like this. It should not look like the guy, on the left. He looks 9 months pregnant, doesn't he? Yeah, he's got a big belly. Whew. I'd ask him, is it a boy or a girl? Anyways. So, a healthy colon looks like that on the left, but on the right, we have all kinds of problems going on because you're not pooping 2 to 3 times a day. Where does all that stuff go? You start getting colitis, diverticulitis, you get strictures, and when you sit on the toilet, you sweat, and you swipe for about 2 hours, and you're like, ugh. Right? Next thing you know, you're diagnosed with colon cancer. All right. Notice this patient, advanced neuropathy as a result of last-stage diabetes, open ulcers. On day 4, tissue regeneration begins to take place. On day 7, total regeneration has taken place as a result of juice fasting and cleaning out the colon. This opens the way for the body to heal. How do we assist nature to expel impurities from the system? Steam bath, liver cleansing, kidney cleansing, fasting, juicing, water fasting, exercise, sunshine, fresh air. Right? One of the ways that we can clean out the colon is by use of enemas or colonics. I recommend the gravity flow type of colonics. We use enemas. And fasting can help us to lose toxic weight. Notice this man, 185 pounds, and on the right, he's after 10 days of fasting, he comes down to 161. All right. Now, for the conclusion of this lecture, and then we can take question and answer, and we'll have our food demo. All right? Now I'm going to give you a simple fasting program that you can follow at home. If you want to take pictures, you can. I'll leave the slide up there. This is a simple 3-day juice fast that you can do at home. It's very simple. It's very easy. If you are diabetic and you juice carrot apple, mix half a glass of water with half a glass of carrot apple juice only. That dilutes it down to basically you're drinking mostly water. I mean, you have a little bit of sugar in there, but not enough to make your blood sugar go up, okay? And as you advance into the 2nd and 3rd day, you want to drink more green juices if you're diabetic. If you're not diabetic, enjoy the carrot apple juice. Drink plenty of it. It's sweet. It tastes great. And it'll feed your body the necessary glucose for the brain and all those other wonderful things that glucose does in the body. Green juices would be romaine, cucumber, celery, green leaf lettuce, some unripe pineapple. For diabetics, if you're not diabetic, you can use ripe pineapple. Then vegetable juice, carrot, apple, cucumber, tomato, celery, cilantro, or parsley. This ginger tea is really good. If you have a sore throat, it's anti-inflammatory and it really helps. Amazing medicine. All right. During the 3 days of juicing, you want to drink an 8-ounce glass of juice every hour throughout the day while fasting. In between, you drink water and herbal teas, okay? Now, I've met many people say, oh, I tried fasting and I got a headache and I felt so weak and I felt horrible. I tell them, how much juice did you drink? 2. 2 what? 2 glasses. No wonder why you had a headache. Your body is going into ketosis, and you're like water fasting, and no wonder why you had a headache and no energy and you felt horrible. You need to drink plenty of juice every hour, okay? By the way, the true fasting is water fasting, and if you're going to do that, you stay in bed. Don't be walking around and going to the pickleball court and all that stuff, okay? That's a no-no. Although I have to admit that one day water fast I did this week, I did go out and play pickleball in the evening, but it was hard. But I did it anyways, and I felt good afterwards. The next day I paid for it. My legs were very sore. All right. Okay, so after each day of fasting, you want to take an enema with lukewarm water in the morning to cleanse and detoxify the colon. So you take about 2 to 3 bags of water. Water in, jump on the toilet, let it out. Reinsert, let the water go in. Basically, you're flushing out all those toxins that are in the intestine, okay? And how do we break a fast? Day number 4, your breakfast would be fresh, ripe fruits, preferably juicy fruits like watermelon, melon, papaya, mango, in season, or whatever juicy fruit you can get your hands on, okay? A little bit of oatmeal, like a real small, tiny bit of oatmeal is okay, but if you can forbear, it's even better, all right? In breaking the fast, we're talking about juice fasting now. We're not talking about water fasting, okay? Water fasting, you only eat a very small, like not even 1 cup of juicy fruit in breaking a water fast, okay? But juice fasting, it's different. You can be a little more liberal with food, but not too much, okay? You eat a large raw salad in the afternoon, kale, lettuce, cucumber, tomato. You can put onion, lemon, salt, olive oil. You can eat veggie sticks if you like celery, carrots, cucumber, etc., whatever you want, okay? All right, in closing, I'm just going to read a couple Bible verses, and then we're going to have question and answer. In the book of Joel, chapter 2, we're told in verse 12 and 13, therefore also now saith the Lord, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with what? What does the Bible say? And with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your heart and not your garments. What is God more concerned about? The inside or the outside? God's more concerned about the inside, because if the inside is surrendered to Jesus, then the outside will demonstrate, right? Okay? Rend your heart and not your garments, and turn unto the Lord your God, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger and of great kindness, and repenteth him of the evil. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly, we're told in Joel 2, verse 15. For certain things, fasting and prayer are recommended and appropriate. In the hand of God, they are a means of cleansing the heart and promoting a receptive frame of mind. We obtain answers to our prayers because we fast. Is that what it says? No. Because we do what? Because we humble our souls before God. You see that? So as we're fasting and we humble ourselves before God, God will give us answer to our prayers, and he'll give us victory over addictions and things that we're struggling with. God will give us victory. The spirit of true fasting and prayer is the spirit which yields mind, heart, and will to God. Counsels and Diet and Foods. I forgot to put the page number. There it is, page 189, sorry. Manuscript 28, 1900. All right. So we'll close here. Anybody have questions? Yes. Electrolytes. Okay. Okay, so that's a good question. When you're juice fasting, you don't have to worry so much about electrolytes because you're getting glucose through the juices. Okay, so you're taking in nutrients. But when you're water fasting, you can use electrolytes. You can mix it with your water. That's a good idea, actually. But I never even thought of that when I did my water fast many, many years ago. Because I was a drug addict, at the age of 21, I accepted the health message. I accepted Christ. I changed my diet. I began to practice health reform. And but at 23, I could barely walk. I was like an old man. I had no energy. I was sleeping 12, 14, 16 hours a day. I had no energy. I thought I was going to die. I really did. And so I went to see a naturopathic doctor who was also a licensed chiropractor in the state of Washington, in Tacoma, Washington. And he said, tell me about your history. I said, drugs, cocaine, meth, mushrooms, alcohol, marijuana. He said, oh, yeah. He said, I think your liver's in trouble. He said, I think you're also adrenally exhausted. So he did a complete liver panel. Yep. You're 4 times more toxic than the average person. You're in serious trouble. I said, okay, what do I do now? I said, I have no energy. I sleep all day. I can hardly eat. He said, don't worry. I'm going to put you on a water fast starting now. Actually, it was a juice fast. Sorry, not a water. It was a juice fast. He gave me grape juice, grapefruit juice, and water mixed. And that was all I drank for 7 days. And every morning I had an enema, and every evening I had an enema. And by the 3rd day, the 4th day, the 5th day, my energy started coming back and stuff was coming out of me. It was unbelievable. And I gained my energy. And I was like, wow, praise the Lord. But you know what? I'll be honest with you. That wasn't it. I did fasting for 2 years, like every month or every other month. A 3-day juice fast, a 5-day juice fast, a 7-day juice fast. And later on, I learned about water fasting, and I said, I need to do that. So I did a 1-week water fast. I look like a walking skeleton. I look kind of like a walking skeleton. There's a little bit of something there, but anyways. But during the time, I looked really bad. But I wasn't worried about that because I knew I'd gain the weight back a little bit, no? So on the 3rd day of my water fast, I was in bed like this. My wife says, are you okay? What's the matter? I said, just leave me alone. Just get out. My liver was releasing methamphetamines into my bloodstream. And this was like, I don't know, 15, 20 years after not even touching drugs. I was clean for many years. But the liver was still dumping poison after many years. So backing up, those 2 years when I started fasting and cleansing, I regained my health. And my liver is completely 100% normal. Everything is normal. I have energy. I feel good. I don't have any medications, no health problems that I'm aware of. But, even with a healthy lifestyle, we're not immune from disease. I could die of cancer in 2 months from now. Who knows? I don't know. But I trust God, and I'm going to follow God's program because I love the Lord. So, there are some people that practice health reform, and they get cancer and they die. How do you answer that? I don't know. Bad genes? Who knows? Toxic environment? Bad emotions? Anger? Unresolved issues? Who knows? But we leave that with God. I don't question God. God's program is the best program. Good question. Did I answer it? Okay, good. Yes. Any other questions? Yes. I'm sorry? Okay, a water fast is where you drink nothing but water for like 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or even 7 days. Yeah, only water. And water fasting is very powerful because it enables the body to totally rebuild the entire immune system. Yeah, very powerful. I don't recommend water fasting if you've never even done a juice fast. Try juice fasting first. Do that a few times. Read up on what you do and don't do on a water fast. I do not recommend any longer than 7 days on a water fast, unsupervised by a medical doctor who has experience with fasting. Now, there's a doctor by the name of Alan Goldhammer who is all over the internet. He's on YouTube, and he has a clinic called True North up in, is it Washington State, honey? I think so. A friend of mine actually went there. They did a 2-week water fast. He fasts people even up to 21 days. Water only. But he's a medical doctor. He's licensed, and he knows what to look for when somebody's doing a long fast. I would never do anything longer than 7 days on my own. Okay? If you're going to do a longer fast than 7 days, you should go to a place where the doctor is there. He can test your urine. He can check your blood. He can make sure that everything is, your chemistry is okay. You're not going into starvation mode or whatever, you know what I mean? So you got to be careful. So water fasting is next level fasting. That's the only true fasting in reality, okay? But juice fasting is good, and you can heal through juice fasting as well. Did that answer your question? Yeah. So a short water fast, water only for a whole day. Drink plenty of water. Don't be walking around all over the house. You're just going to feel horrible. Just stay in bed and sleep and pray and have quiet time with God. And then break your fast with some juicy fruits like watermelon or cantaloupe or honeydew or whatever juicy fruits are in season, okay? All right? Any other questions? Yes. That's a good question. Can colonics become habit-forming at some point? The answer is yes. Some people have become have a bad habit of doing colonics in order to defecate. That's not a good thing. If you are eating plenty of raw fruits and vegetables, in other words, you're getting plenty of fiber in your diet in the form of raw fruits and vegetables, you should move your bowel without any problems. And you also need to make sure you're drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water a day in between meals, not with meals, okay? So, and you need exercise. Now, if you're having problems with constipation, you can do a fast, you can do enemas to try to clear out the old impactions that are in the intestine, like I had diverticulitis, and I had all kinds of problems. And so, those things can heal over time. But doing a fast and doing some colonics or enemas will help. But I do not recommend colonics where they use the machine where they shoot the water up your rectum. I don't recommend that. Okay? It's not going to hurt you, but I don't think that's necessary. You can do gravity flow type colonics using a Kalima board. Okay? So you can research on that. There's plenty of information on the internet on how to do that. But a simple enema is sufficient. Okay? So that's a good question. Any other questions? Yes, brother. Sure. Sure. Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. Sure. Right. Okay. Okay. Caffeine, is that what you said? Oh, casein. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Oh, that's okay. I thought you said caffeine. Go ahead. Okay. Right. Sure. Right. Okay. Right. Sure. Sure. Right. Hmm. Right. Right. Sure. I appreciate your input. There's Ellen White even talked about free-range eggs. In other words, eggs from chickens that are running around in the in the field and everything. It's healthier than the ones that are caged. But she says the time will come when all animal foods will be done away with in the diet and practice of God's people. And we've come to that time a long time ago. So Ellen White encouraged the use of healthy cream from healthy cows. But if you read on later in her statements, if we look at those early statements, that's what she said. But then later on, she says it's becoming increasingly unsafe. And then later on, she says it's no longer safe. So if we take all those quotations, looking at the date when they were written, and then we find out as her understanding of the condition of the animal creation and God's curse resting more heavily upon the animal foods and everything, then she went so far as to say that it's no longer safe to use any animal products. There are plenty of quotations where she says that. And these are later statements, early 1900s, late 1890s. And so, but thanks for your input on that. So we have to look, if you read the book Counsels in Diet and Foods, a lot of these statements are kind of jumbled. It's not chronological, so it can be a little confusing, but take note of the date and the references that you're reading, and then you'll see what I'm saying, is that chronologically, her early view was, it's okay to eat eggs from healthy fowls that are running around in the garden and on the farm. And then later on, she says, but the time will come when these things will no longer be safe, and we should educate people how to cook and prepare healthy foods without the use of milk and eggs. That's what she says, and even butter. So, and then later on, she comes down and says, well, it's no longer safe, and we should do away with these things because God is calling us back to his original plan, which was plant-based 100%. So thanks for your input, though. I appreciate that. Okay, sure. Sure. Plant-based, right. Sure. Right. Okay. Sure. You're right. And so that's why God foresaw these things, and he instructed us as a people living in the last days that we are to leave the cities, move into the country, and do what? What are we supposed to do in the country? Hide in a cave? No. Grow our own food, for soon the problem of buying and selling will be a very serious one. There's your answer to all those problems with the microplastics, the fungicides, the pesticides, the insecticides, and all of the, the commercially fertilizers and everything. We should be growing our own food. If the Sunday law was passed today, how are we going to eat tomorrow? We're all in the same boat, including me. But we are trying to make preparations for that time. We are planting. We are growing. We have fruit-bearing trees now. We're going to plant veggies. We're going to do all that we can. But when I'm here in Sacramento, I'm in the same boat as everybody else here. So we need to pray. We need to plan. And we need to study God's word and the spirit of prophecy so that we'll be ready. Thank you for your input. Okay, so at this time, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to ask my wife to come up here. We're going to go ahead and set up our food demo, and we'll proceed with that. Let me close this. Okay, let's see here. You start right here, my love. You gonna start right there? We need a extension cord. I see a cord here. I'm assuming, yeah, that's an extension cord. I can get that. great. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Okay, so Daryl's going to share a little bit introduction. Go ahead.
Yes, so good afternoon, everyone. Before we do our food demo, we're gonna show you a couple of recipes, and not necessarily recipes, but something with the garlic and with the cayenne. Because all day James talked about the heart, uh, her, that our heart should be healthy, and we're gonna show you how to make a cayenne drink and also a garlic drink that's good for the heart because it's good for circulation. Garlic is very good for blood circulation. It's good antibacterial, antiviral, and for people that are suffering from high blood pressure, it's very, very good. So we're going to show you how to do that real quick, and then also the cayenne. And then after that, we're going to go through some food demos. And we don't actually call it, instead of a cooking demo, we call it raw food demo because we emphasize a lot about on raw foods. We don't need this. It's just, oops. Yeah, so we are told that every bite you take is either fighting disease or feeding it. So that's a conscious choice that each one of us has to make. So every time we put something in our mouth, we have to ask ourselves, is this something that is fighting disease or is something that's feeding it? And unfortunately, a lot of times we make wrong choices, right? And it's instead of fighting disease, we're feeding it. And also, a principle that's in the Bible, the life of the flesh is in the blood. That's in Leviticus 17:11. So when somebody's sick, the first thing the doctor does is check for the blood. They do a blood panel, they do blood test to see what's going on. And if somebody's sick, the first thing we need to focus on also is the blood. So we make sure that we give the blood proper nourishment. And this diagram right here shows what is the best food for the blood. On the left there is the plant chlorophyll. That's the molecular structure, what it looks like. And the plant chlorophyll, and the right is in the human blood hemoglobin. And you can see that they're almost identical, right? Actually, they're identical except for the plant chlorophyll, magnesium is at the center, and for our blood hemoglobin, it's iron at the center. So right there, it's telling us that the best food for our blood are this, the greens, the green leafy. So that's what we're going to demonstrate this afternoon. We're going to do some raw salads and then some green smoothies also. So that's what we're going to do. Green smoothie. And liquid chlorophyll benefits. Highly alkaline. It has a lot of antioxidants. And it's, because it's raw and blended, pre-digested, then the antioxidants, the vitamins and minerals are adulterated. So it's high in vitamin A, C, and K, folic acid, iron, calcium, and protein. And we know that antioxidants, they're very important to protect ourselves from free radicals. And those are the ones that we know causes cancer. And other elements help build healthy cells and enhance the function of the immune system. And this reduces the risk of cancer. And that's one of the most important health benefits of liquid chlorophyll. And we know that chlorophyll is basically the blood of the green leaves, right? And some people call it the liquid sunshine because we know from science, as we learned that even from elementary years, that chlorophyll is what? The rays of the sun that's being absorbed by the leaves, and that's the green pigment. So when you take that into our bodies through the green smoothie, which is what we're gonna do, you get all the benefits, the liquid chlorophyll benefits. And those are, it says it also neutralizes the effect of carcinogens in all body organs. And as part of detoxification, chlorophyll helps the body to get rid of calcium oxalate stones by breaking them down. This reduces the risk of kidney diseases. That's why for dialysis patients, for diabetics, we recommend and we give them mainly green juices or green smoothies, and they heal pretty fast. Again, chlorophyll is plant blood. We saw that in the diagram a while ago. It almost looks like our human red blood hemoglobin. And it's almost identical to our own red blood cells. We saw that. Cleanses the blood, binds with heavy metals, and helps remove them from the body. It cleanses the bowels, increases red blood cell count. We have so many testimonies of these people that are supposed to get a transfusion. And because of drinking green smoothies regularly, they don't need transfusion. We've had so many people had this experience. Oxygenates the blood. Remember, cancer, people that have cancer, they're very, very low in oxygen. Alkalizes the blood, helps fight disease, strengthens immunity, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, cancer protective. So that's what we're going to demonstrate in a minute here. But before that, we're going to do some of the, like I said, the cayenne and the garlic drink. I'm going to show here, actually, I'm going to show the recipes later when we do the green smoothie. For now, we're going to do the cayenne and the garlic. So what we need is, before we do this blender, can I just plug in the hot water? So that, yeah. Yes. So we're going to heat up the hot water because we're going to need that for the garlic and the cayenne. So basically, we'll have boiling hot water, and we're going to put it right here in the cup, and we're going to put the garlic right there. This 3 cloves of garlic chopped up. And let that steep in the hot water to draw out the properties of the garlic, which, as I said, it's very, very powerful. It's a good blood circulation tonic that we're going to make right now. So it's good for those who have high blood, like I said. We've had many people that come to us with high blood pressure, and instead of taking their maintenance drugs, they take this and their blood pressure goes down. Now, we're not saying that if you're on maintenance meds, that you stop taking your maintenance medication. That's not good. That's dangerous, actually. You don't do that. In fact, even people that come to us through a 10-day program, we don't tell them to stop taking their meds. And what we recommend is that they change their lifestyle and even consult with their doctor when it comes to their maintenance, monitor their progress, and then have the doctor be the one to taper off their medicine. So that's the safest way to do that. Okay, so while that's heating up, the other one is a cayenne drink. So if there's any herb that one needs to have in their medicine cabinet, it's cayenne. It's the king of the herbs. It's very, very good. Like I said, it's a good blood circulation herb. It's good for high blood also. And there's a lot of things that this is good for. Bleeding, it's very good. Topically, if somebody's bleeding, you put this on, and it will stop the bleeding right away. It's good for ulcers. You might say, oh, that's not supposed to be good, right? But it actually has a property that heals the stomach ulcers. And what else is good for? Yes, cayenne. Yeah, that's what I said, circulation. So we recommend people that come to us when we do medical missions, because we do it in the poor places like in the barangays where it's actually remote. So people do not have access a lot of times to medicines or hospitals, so they would rather take something that's simple. So we give out pack, little pack of this. We give it out for free to people who come to us. Yes, and to help people out. And so we just give it. Cayenne, yes. So we have a little write-up. We tell them what to do. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you drink this, which is what we're going to make. Hot water with cayenne, a pinch of cayenne, and then some lemon juice. Lemon juice is actually very, very good in melting that cholesterol in the arteries. So that's why we're going to do that right now. So we tell them to do that. And 3 days later, the next day even, they come back and they say, you know what? My blood pressure is low. It's normal. Or I don't have this chest pain anymore. So just from very simple cayenne drink, cayenne lemon drink. So that's heating up. And also, we have testimonies of people that like having an asthma attack. Yes, asthma. Because this one opens up our blood vessels. So, in the bronchial too. So, yes, cayenne. And also garlic, both. We're gonna do. It's separate drink actually. We don't do it all together. Yes. Yes. Either one is good. Chop it up.
So it's
And
basically a garlic tea.
yeah, garlic tea.
It doesn't taste great, but it's very effective.
And when it's warm enough, I mean, it's cool enough to drink, then squeeze half a lemon in it and then drink it down. You can strain it so that there's no pieces of garlic, and then just drink the tea. And so that's very, very good. Like I said, lemon is very, very good in melting the fats and the cholesterol. That's why the Chinese, right? They like to drink tea.
They drink hot tea.
And the Koreans too, they do that also, right? They like to drink tea after each meal, especially if they had a fatty meal. You know why? Because the heat usually, especially with the lemon, melts that fat and cholesterol. And you can, when there's a fat and you put it in the fridge, what happens?
Becomes solid, right?
It's solidify. And that's what we do when we eat a big fatty meal and then we drink down something that's cold, like a soda or ice water or iced tea. Then guess what? Those fat and cholesterol solidifies. And it actually forms a layer in our gut. We had a lecture that we did at the All Nations last Sabbath, and it's all about the gut. But we didn't discuss that this lecture. But that's what happens. And so we have layers of cholesterol lining up our arteries, and so that's what happens. But drinking this slowly melts that away, especially if you stay away from drinking cold. Actually, Sister White says it's not good to drink cold drinks for that reason, because it solidifies the fats and the cholesterol. So you let that steep, and then, like I said, when it's cool enough to drink, then we will put the lemon. And this one is the cayenne. And what we do is we put a pinch of cayenne in it. Depends on how hot your cayenne is. So people ask, so can we just use chili powder If there's nothing else, it's okay. But if you can find cayenne, that's better. And I guess cayenne is good because the heat, its heat is not an irritant to the stomach, unlike any other peppers. So cayenne is the one that has the right heat that will not irritate. And we have testimonies of this too. There's this guy. Did you show the picture of Araw? Yeah. Yeah, the stroke. See? Yep.
He's running around riding skateboard.
So it can arrest heart attacks and strokes. Yes.
With this garlic tea, we had a lady that was brought to us by a former mayor who's a friend of my wife's family. And this lady came to us, and they said, James, wake up. And it was like early in the morning. I was like, who's that? And they said, help. I said, what? And this lady was like this. She could barely breathe. She was having a major asthma attack. And I said, have a seat. Hang on. And she's sitting down like this. It was bad. Hang on just a minute. I got 3 cloves of garlic. Chop, chopped it up real fine as I could. I put it on a spoon. Did we do lemon water afterwards? Yeah. No. I gave her the garlic, and then I had some warm lemon water. And I said, open your mouth. Chew it up and swallow it. She swallowed it, all the garlic. Then I said, here, drink this. I gave her lemon water, warm lemon drink. This is actually better, so you don't have to chew it up, you know. But that's what I knew at the time, right? And then maybe 10 minutes later, she's like this. 15 minutes later, she's okay. And she said, oh, how much do we owe you? I said, do you have any property? Not because she was thinking, oh man, maybe this guy wants my land, you know. I didn't know till later. They were telling me, I was laughing. I said, no. I said, you need to grow your own food because she was, you know what she had that morning? Fried eggs and a glass of milk. Totally triggered asthma attack. Bad news. Dairy products are triggers for asthma. We have a friend who is an Adventist now. When we first met her, she was an asthmatic. She was on steroids and all kinds of drugs, and I don't know what they give for asthma, but a lot of stuff. Salbutamol, inhaling all that stuff with those, what do they call that? I know. What's the treatment? I forgot. Nebulizing treatments. Yeah. And she accepted the health message. I told her, get off all the dairy, eat a plant-based diet, exercise every day. She recovered. She became an Adventist. She's like, wow, this is amazing. Well, and then we started having Bible studies, and then they'd ask questions, and then we really got into the Three Angels messages, and they've been Adventists. They're good friends of ours. Anyways, health message, brothers and sisters, the entering wedge to bring people to Jesus. Very powerful.
Yes, amen. So that's basically it for the cayenne. You can taste it later.
So somebody can volunteer to drink this in a while when it
No,
cools down?
they can all, because we have little
We have
cups.
little cups. You can take it. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll put it later when it's
All right. Okay,
full
just leave
enough.
that there.
Oops.
Probably the smoothie because we can.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we're gonna do the green smoothie now. So we have our pitcher.
I'll put up a recipe here. Yeah, we didn't put the lemon yet, so you put the lemon first. Find a strainer there. blueberry delight first. So basically, the idea of a green smoothie is a cup of fruit and then a cup of greens. That's how simple it is. I know some people that do green smoothies, they have so much in there. They put nuts, they put seeds, they put chia, they put flax. What we recommend is a simple green smoothie. Why? So that it's easier for the body to process and digest. I mean, it's pre-digested already, but if you have so many ingredients in there, then it takes longer for the body to assimilate it. So what we have there is a simple banana and a blueberry, and then water, and then greens. That's it. If you add nuts, then it will take longer to digest because it has protein. So that one doesn't have any. And the idea is to utilize and to get as much of the properties of the chlorophyll as you can. And because it's pre-digested, the blender has already done the work for us of breaking up the cellular of structure of the greens, and all we need to do is absorb it. Okay, so we recommend using different kinds of greens. We actually recommend drinking green smoothie every day, especially if you have health problems. We don't have health problems, but we drink green smoothie just about every day if we can. Because, where's your open super greens? She saw that. So we recommend using different kinds of greens every day. Don't use spinach every day because different kinds of greens have different kinds of balance of vitamins and minerals. So if you're using the same every day, you might get an imbalance of the vitamins and minerals. So what we recommend is we rotate the different kinds of greens. Today you do spinach, tomorrow you do kale, the next day you do lettuce, chard, actually any kinds of greens. You can even do some of the wild greens. There are people that are into green smoothies. They recommend using some of those wild greens because the wild greens are the highest in vitamins and minerals. And you know they don't have anything on them, no sprays, no nothing. So like miner's lettuce and, oh, you didn't get one. Call it the blueberry delight. It's one of our favorite greens.
I've got frozen bananas, so we basically just peel the banana and freeze it. Okay.
And
got some frozen
it's
blueberries.
actually the best bananas to use are the ones that already have dark spots in it. It's starting to have dark spots. This is not so ripe yet, so it might not be that sweet. When it's the right ripeness, it's very, very sweet. You don't need sweetener. And you notice we don't use sweetener for our green smoothies. We don't need to have that added sugar.
Baby spinach.
Yep,
Organic.
it's organic baby spinach.
All right, I'm going to blend this up.
And in the Philippines or in the tropics, the bananas taste way better, way sweeter. So no comparison. So it's no comparison from the bananas here. Oops, you have to turn it on.
Maybe it's
No, it's not turned on underneath.
looks like pudding. Right, okay. we use that. In fact, we're going to make some. Is that real? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of another demo. Yeah, cashew milk, almond milk, those are good. Sesame seed, yeah.
Actually, last Sabbath we were at All Nations, so we made
The
a.
first time we speak at a church, this is the demo we do, and then the second time we have another demo.
Yeah, we did an almond milk.
We
Yeah.
did the other one, they saw the second one, now they've seen the first one. Because they came over to the other church.
The West Sac
Yeah.
Church.
We're just going to put additional
Greens.
greens. That's just like barley, alfalfa grass, spinach, maple, straw, and
So the idea is the more green, the better. The greener, the better. The bitter, the better. And like I always say, if you think about it, the most powerful animals are the ones that eat greens. What are those? Elephants, carabaos, water buffalo. It's carabaos in the Philippines. Horses, cows, and hippos, yes. So, and they actually eat nothing but grass, meaning greens, and that's it. And you think about it, I thought you need protein to be strong. Well, ask the carabaos, ask the horses.
Well, actually, the greens have more protein.
Yep.
Where do the cows and all of those other animals, where do they get their protein? From the grass,
Yes.
right?
We're just getting second-hand protein. I think that's still too thick.
No.
Yeah, remember Popeye? Yeah. Yes.
I used to watch that when I was a kid.
But whenever he feels he doesn't have his strength anymore, he has to chug down
Big spinach.
a big spinach. Not only that, those who have the longest living animals are the ones that eat and are mainly plant-based also.
How many?
I don't know.
30? About 15 for age was. Okay. Yeah, you want to do
There was not bigger size cup there. There was this small size, and then there was the really big one. So
So yeah, we anyway. So this is a green smoothie, and it doesn't look very green. It looks more purple than anything because there's a lot of blueberries. This is my favorite smoothie. I love blueberries, and I like to put blueberries on my oatmeal in the morning with banana. That's really good. That's a good breakfast. Oatmeal with bananas and blueberry, yummy stuff. Not yet, but let them try it. I'm sure it's good. Yeah.
yes, but we're gonna make another one that's more green.
Yeah, we're gonna experiment on you guys. We like to do a green smoothie early in the morning, and then we go do exercise. And you talk about energy. Wow. Because we eat twice a day. We eat like around 11 and around 5 or 6. So, but that's not for everybody. If you're a carpenter, you're mixing cement, you're a bricklayer, you're involved in construction, you need to eat 3 meals a day, okay? Because you're burning a lot more energy than most of us. So, but we do great on 2 meals. We eat plenty, and we do green smoothies. You know, before breakfast, about an hour or 2 before breakfast, we'll do green smoothie. Even in the Philippines, we do green smoothies. So, yeah, really good stuff. So this will give you tons of energy. And I wish we could serve everybody a big glass of this stuff. This This is better than anything you'll get at Jamba Juice. Now, Jamba Juice has a lot of good stuff, but it's fruit, you know, it's really sweet. But if you put greens in there, now that's whole next level stuff, okay? So
Actually, sometimes what we do when we need the lift, like in the afternoon, we go to one of those places that makes those, but we bring our greens. And we tell them, can you please put this in there?
you guys like, wow,
Yeah.
yeah, throw it in there and blend it up. Okay.
So we can, and then we end up sharing with them too.
Travel a lot, so.
Okay, so how is it? See, you don't taste the spinach, right?
Yeah, and you just have a major dose of, you have sugar, you have protein, you have vitamins and minerals.
Don't throw your cups yet.
No, there's more.
We're gonna make more. Actually, there's some more. See?
Come on up here and serve yourself another glass. Because we gotta clear this pitcher.
Can I taste
People are
it?
kind of underfilling.
Yeah, so you guys need to fill up.
Here you go. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Good, yeah. Go ahead. That's for your friend there. Yeah, right over there. Guy videoing. Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, I guess you're the delegated server right now. Okay. I didn't give you. Go ahead. You get yours first. Anyways, no, don't worry about it. Go ahead, because we're going to make another pitcher. Don't worry. Keep your cup, because we're going to make a different smoothie next. We're going to try 2 different times, okay?
And I'll put this here.
Yes, yes. After they get theirs. When we're traveling, if I have to drive a long distance, it's better than coffee. It keeps me going.
I got one. It's okay. So he can.
Yeah, it's better than coffee. Yeah.
Actually, I have a testimony. We went to this. We did.
Thank you.
We did this seminar at this one church in the Philippines, and then we demonstrated this, and then they started doing it, and then a few months later they invited us back for their anniversary, for the church anniversary, and then when we did our lecture, when we did the demo in the afternoon, they're actually the ones that did the food demo, the green smoothie demo.
Showed us some different recipes.
They came up with their own.
They made carrot juice and they added frozen bananas and leaves. And they blend. I said, oh, that's very smart. That's good. Because carrot juice is sweet. It's very delicious.
And the thing was, they were sharing with us testimonies. This guy, one of the elders there, he was bringing his blender at work and he was making smoothies, green smoothies for his coworkers in the office. And everybody's loving it and they're looking forward to it every day. And he was sharing the testimonies from his coworkers that one of his coworkers was, you know what? I'm not drinking coffee anymore because of this stuff that you're giving me every day. So he wasn't drinking coffee anymore because of the green smoothie.
Okay, so let's do a batch number 2. All right, second green smoothie. Let's do this.
This is the recipe, but unfortunately, it's there in the kitchen. I didn't bring kale. I usually have kale because kale. Oh, there's one here. Okay, good. Usually I use kale for this recipe, but I sent James to be the one to do the shopping, and you know how men are. when you go when you go have them go grocery shopping, they always forget something, right? So we're gonna use either lettuce or some of the green mix.
No.
This is
That's not. You can't.
no.
Because it has fiber. The whole idea of fasting is.
No fiber at all.
Now, some people will do a green smoothie fast.
Yeah.
It's like a fruit fast. So you can do that, but that's not
Or some people do a mixture of. They do some juices and also some green smoothies. Yeah, you can. Just do that. So we're gonna do a green piña colada. Like I said, I usually use kale because kale is very, very good. Kale is the king of the greens. Like I said, the greener the better. So the greener the leaves, the better it is. And kale is one of those greens that's really there. It's called superfood, super greens.
Great.
And for this one, we're gonna do pineapple. Again, in the Philippines, pineapple tastes
Yeah, we grow
way better.
pineapple, bananas, coconuts. We planted a lot of fruit trees there. And last year we ate fruits for free. But it took 12, 13 years to do that. It's a long time. Here we go. Frozen pineapple. So we bought a fresh pineapple, just cubed it up, froze it up, and here we go. Try that first because we got a lot of stuff in here already.
And we forgot the coconut milk also. I'm sorry. But that will make it creamier and taste way better. It will make it taste.
There's too much water in there.
Yes, I know.
Too much water.
How about your
Okay,
I'll
here.
taste test it.
This one doesn't.
one is too runny?
Yeah.
Or you can put some.
Ooh. More pineapple.
Fresh.
I've got plenty of meat.
The more greens, the better. Actually, you can start with a little bit and then you add more and more greens to it.
Naturally, they'll start asking because when you alkalinize the blood through fruits and vegetables, the body will start giving you. When they see salad, oh, I want some of that. I want to eat some broccoli. It's just automatic. It's like rewiring their
Put some
taste
extra
buds
greens.
and the chemistry of their brain. Okay, so come on up front and help yourself. Somebody can volunteer to pour that for everybody. Thank you. Go ahead. That's good. Yeah. Here, let her pour it. Let her do it. over here, so that it doesn't spill on the carpet, because that's gonna be.
So you have, if it has the coconut milk, gives it a more tropical taste. But since
Okay, if anybody wants to try the garlic tea, it's right here. You can pour some in your glass. And here's the cayenne. Yeah, you can pour some of this too. Cayenne and garlic tea. There you go. Blood. Very often you come to church and do something. Pretty good though. This one is good, but you can taste a little bit.
yeah, because we
Use this one.
try it with the kale. You can actually taste the kale.
Yeah.
If it's kale, and then you get a little bit of coconut milk in it.
We have to finish the whole pitcher because we need the pitcher for the next lesson. You gotta drink all of it. Here, I'll take some more.
Which one do you want?
Good? Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. It spills a little. It's yeah. More volunteers. Drink it up. I think we'll have to go seconds and thirds on this round. There you go.
Then
Keep going. We need to finish it off. There's more. I'll take another dose. Here you go. Okay. Go ahead.
ah,
Fresh gun. Good.
we've actually had a lot of mothers and grandmothers thank us for showing them this because they take with their kids and grandkids to eat any vegetables.
Vegetables.
So
They
they're able.
drink this, they're
yeah.
getting vegetables.
It says that this reset happens because the microbiota gets altered. Because through the autonomic nervous system, they're signaling the brain.
Yeah. And the brain is saying, oh, this is good stuff. We like this.
The
Give
cells
me
are
more.
the cells are saying
The brain
no.
that's asking for donuts earlier starts asking for veggies.
Right. I call it rewiring the brain.
There's more. Yeah,
Oh, here. Go ahead. You drink the rest. No, it's okay.
I'm done.
Okay. So, no more.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the green smoothie challenge is this. We encourage you to drink a green smoothie every day for the next 7 days. After doing that, if you don't have your green smoothie, like, and I'm telling you, it will literally change your health for the better. You'll have more energy, you'll sleep better at night, your bowels will move better. A lot of amazing things will happen in your body as a result. Yeah, go ahead and try the tea. There you go. Garlic tea, cayenne tea.
Do you mix it?
You can. They're both hot, so you can taste one and then the other.
All the cayennes on the bottom though.
Yeah, it's here. Here, use this one.
Actually, better to do it. Drink the tea.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, it is?
There's tea if you want to taste. Yeah, we do the tea in the morning to clean out the blood, flush the kidneys. Yeah, either one.
Either one.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, one is garlic and one is. Yep.
Yeah, we do cayenne. We have one of these at home in the Philippines. It's 220. It only takes less than a minute to boil the water. And we pour it in the mug, and she's got water. And we just sprinkle cayenne, stir it up. Let's go jogging. Or let's go. We don't use green tea at all because green tea has caffeine. I didn't know that before, and people say, "Oh, it's good for you." It has some medicinal properties.
We got to educate all that the antioxidant benefits are there. And for the heart,
Right, but there are other things that you can use like this. For that reason. Okay. Oh, okay, good. That's fine. So now, okay, so. All right, so we're ready for our last food demo, and Daryl is going to demonstrate how to make. Oh, that's not it. Okay, hang on.
After you drink that tea, you can actually feel the blood moving all over, right? So that's why it's good, blood circulation tea. Okay, so now we're gonna make a basic salad dressing. Because when we do our seminars, we encourage people to to eat a lot of salads. And that's,
We're almost drinking salads when we
Yes.
drink green smoothie, right?
because we have a lot of people that claim, oh yeah, we eat vegetarian, we eat good food. But a lot of the people that claim they eat healthy are what we call vegan junkie. Or, right?
I mean, Coca-Cola is vegan.
Donut is vegan.
Donuts are vegan.
Oreos.
Oreo cookies. In fact, somebody used that illustration last Sabbath.
Yes.
In another church. They said Oreo cookies. You're right. Very good. But that doesn't mean
Yes.
plant-based foods. If you say vegan, that's like, you could go to Trader Joe's and you'll find vegan. But if you eat plant-based, that means it comes from plants, right? So it's healthy. It's from the garden.
So we encourage eating a lot of raw foods. So that's why we're going to demonstrate now how to make your own salad dressing that's raw. And so that way you'll be encouraged to eat more raw. And you can use this also as a dip. If you do not put a lot of liquid, make it thicker, then it's a dip. And actually, if you put a thickener and maybe warm it in the stove a little bit, it can also be like a cheese sauce or a cheese kind of like slicing cheese.
Okay.
So, and I call it a basic salad dressing because out of this recipe you can make, including the water, because that's already clean water.
So this is cashews. They've been soaking for a number of hours.
Yeah, since this
They're
morning.
softened up, and we're going to put it in there with the water.
So we soak the cashews so that you get a creamier dressing, and also when you soak nuts, it's easier to digest. So,
And what else are we going to put next?
and then actually we put
Okay.
all of that.
So we're going to put it in
Water, the cider vinegar. If you have heart problems, you don't need to use the olive oil, apple cider, and some lemon.
right. So we've got apple cider lemon, the sour. We've got the sweet and the salty. This is cocoa sugar and
Yeah, there's a cocoa sugar.
salt. Put that.
And
got
some.
Onion and garlic. Put that. Put the lid.
So for those who prepare food or into preparing food, you know that you don't usually need to follow the recipe. Although that's only a guide, because even though I put there the measurement, you can't always follow that because sometimes there's a lemon that's more sour than the other. So we need to learn from own experience how to balance everything. And any good chef or anyone that teaches how to prepare food, they tell you that you have to balance the 5 different tastes to come up with something good. And the different tastes would be the sweet, the salty, the sour, the spicy, and the bitter. So we balance that all out with the garlic, with a little bit of hot, and then the sour from the lemon and apple cider, and also salt, and then the sweet. And if you have the right combination, the right balance of that, then you come up with something that's good. And it's called basic salad dressing because out of that, you can make other types of dressing. If you want to make it like a Thousand Island type, then you add 1 red bell pepper and blend that, and it's a kind of a Thousand Island dressing. If you want to make it like a French dressing, you add a really ripe tomato or a little bit of a tomato paste, and that's a French dressing. If you want an Italian dressing, creamy Italian, then just add like a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, then you have an Italian dressing. Add some basil if you want basil dressing. And add,
You know what's really good, which is my favorite? You put a red bell pepper in here, and you blend it up, Thousand Island dressing. It is so good.
That's what I was
mean,
saying.
Yeah. She mentioned that, but that's my favorite. It's got that cheesy, creamy flavor, especially with the cashew. It's really good.
yes, so you can use other nuts too, but cashews make it really, really creamy.
Sunflower seeds are good too.
Yes, you just have a different taste, so
very nice.
you can experiment with different kinds.
Okay, so now we're going to ask you to come up, and you're going to
Taste,
get
you can try.
in just putting a little of the dressing there. Maybe one person can pour the dressing. You can put the salad on a plate. Yeah, use that. Put a little salad on each plate, and then just sprinkle a little bit of the dressing on top, just a little bit. That way everybody can taste. Okay? So yeah. Yeah, we can use some of these too. Oh, spoons? No, there's forks here. Here, let me.
There's actually enough plates. Oh, you want to? Yeah, there's some spoon here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. There you go. That'll be easier.
We can use this.
I'll do it. Okay. Okay, somebody can come forward. Maybe you guys can come on up here and grab a plate. Yeah, there's two more plates there. There's two that are ready. This one will be ready in just a moment. There you go. Okay, there's two more. There. This one. How is it? Is it good? It's good, huh? Yes. Don't worry about us. How many more? Three more? Okay, we got it. There you go. And that's the last one. I got some more leaves here. There you go. You put that on top. Yeah. Okay, good. Here, you've got some more leaves.
Any question?
You can use one of these. You can use one. Anybody got one? How is it? We didn't even taste the dressing. Again, we're using it. I don't want to use the word guinea pig. That's not a word. We're using you as an experiment. Yes, go ahead. Yes. Oh. Have some dressing. All right, so while you're enjoying that, my wife and I are going to sing a song.
Who said that? So the title of the song is Make Me Whole. And that's a prayer that we have for each one of us and for us also. May the Lord make us whole. Touch me with thy healing hand, O great physician from above. Take this trembling sinner's hand and give me power and love. Oh, live out thy life in me. Make me as thou art, a source of strength and the will to be, the way to show thine arm.
Help me to share the light received in thought, in act, in word, in deed, and give me love and grace divine. Oh, seal our lives as thine. Oh, Lord, make me whole. Make me fit to play the blessed role. Oh Lord, make in me a perfect man the world will see. Help me to share the light received in thought, in act, in word, in deed, and give me love and grace divine. Oh, seal our lives as thine. Oh, Lord, make me whole. Make me fit to play the blessed role. Oh, Lord, make in me a perfect man the world will see. So that's what God wants. Be with us and help us, Lord, to be faithful to the principles of the health message, and most of all, to surrender our hearts to Jesus every day. Because we know we all have struggles, we all have issues that are unresolved, but we thank you that we have a high priest in the most holy place of the heavenly sanctuary, interceding on our behalf, sending the Holy Spirit to strengthen and empower us to do your will. Bless each of us. Guide us, we pray, in Jesus' name. Amen. Happy Sabbath, and thank you all for coming and for bearing with this very long series of lectures. But yeah, we're so excited, and hopefully we'll visit you all later this year. We'll be back in July. God bless. Thank you. Oh, and please pray for us. We need prayer. We'll be speaking in Southern California next Sabbath for 3 Sabbaths. We'll be down there. So pray for us. We appreciate it.